This year could be mentally and emotionally taxing on students. Dr. Robin Gurwitch of Duke University is with us via Zoom this morning with some important help for parents and their kids. Good to see you, Dr. Gurwitch.
Nice to be here.
So as children go back to school, whether it's in person or virtual or even a hybrid, mixed model, are there some mental health concerns that you have for our children?
Sure. No matter how they're going back to school, no matter how they're learning, and everybody would love it if we could rewind time and be back to the way things were, but we can't. So children are worried. They're anxious about what this is going to mean, not only for their learning, but also for their social emotional development. And parents and caregivers are worried as well. So when we have children worried, we may see problems with attention and focus and even learning new materials. So as parents and caregivers, we need to be a little bit more supportive and a little bit more patient with our children.
Well, do you think kids pick up on how we're feeling about things too? How important is that?
Oh, Sheila, you made an incredibly important point, because we may disagree with what our school district is doing, or we may agree. Talk to other trusted adults about that idea, that agreement or disagreement, but not to your children. Your children need to see that you are extremely supportive and will work with them to make sure that they are successful, because children are going to model, children are going to pick up on how their parents and caregivers think about this coming school year.
So let's talk for a minute about the kids who have gone back or are going back soon in person to school. What can families do to make that easier? Because it is different with all of the safety measures in place.
It is very different. So I think there are a few things that parents and caregivers can do. First, make sure that you are aware of the procedures in place and how to communicate with your child's school and with your child's teachers. Recognize that they're working all day, so if you don't get a response to your email immediately, be a little patient with your teachers too. Have a routine set up, not only for going to school, whether it's in home or in person, but also at home. How are you going to set up a routine around playtime, calm time, free time, and study time? The better we do with routine, the better our children can do.
And what are your
if they're learning?
Before we run out of time, I want to ask you
sorry.
about. That's okay. No, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I wanted to have time to ask about the families who have kids at home. They're balancing their jobs, trying to help their kids with school. What tips do you have for them?
Yeah, it's like juggling mini balls, and now we're juggling mini balls and live chainsaws. So I think for parents, what to think about again is, as you're working from home, recognize that your work from home is not going to be 8 hours on Zoom. So think about chunking time. Set a timer if you have young children that at a certain time you're going to go and spend 15 minutes with them before you go back in. Think about setting up a school environment within your home, just like you have your work office. Your child has their school office. Are there times where you can do work from home and they can be doing homework in the same space? So again, that routine and that support and that patience.
And is there a time, real quickly, Robin, before we wrap up, that we should seek some professional help for the stress of it all?
Yes, if you see that your child is having difficulty functioning on a day-to-day, if you're seeing significant changes in mood or behavior, there are incredible resources, particularly in Ohio and the Cincinnati area specifically. So reach out to your local mental health association, to the state psychology association. There are many resources. Don't think that you have to do this alone. Reach out and ask for help so that your children have a continued positive start rather than falling further and further behind if they're struggling.
I think that's all great advice. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and your positivity with us, Dr. Robin Gurwitch of Duke University, and have a good fall.